Hey, what's up guys, Alltech here, and this is the iPhone XR. And today we're going to discuss whether you should be buying this phone in 2019 and when the already popular iPhone 11 is present in the market. So without any dues, let's get started. Now starting off with that design, iPhone XR is made out of glass on top and bottom with that aluminum chassis in between. Even though it doesn't feel as premium like the iPhone 11 Pro's stainless steel chassis, but overall the industrial design is quite up to mark. The phone kind of feels big and chunky to hold in one hand, and it's a new form factor, so it is quite thicker, quite wider in comparison to iPhone 11 Pro, but much smaller than the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So overall, it's a right fit for bigger handed people, and I still have to use both of my hands to use it properly, so you can say. Moving around, you get the USB Lightning port, stereo speaker and microphone on the bottom. On the side, you get the volume rockers, the ringer silent switch, which every smartphone should have, and on the top, you get nothing, absolutely empty. On the side, you get the new Power Come City button along with that eSIM functionality SIM tray. Yes, the camera bump on the back is there and it kind of rocks on the table. So you should put a case behind in order to protect the lens. Let's talk about that camera. iPhone XR is rocking a 12 megapixel shooter along with f1.8 aperture with optical image stabilization, which means that it can take great photos in broad daylight and quite decent photos in indoor or low light conditions. Even though iPhone XR does not have a dual camera setup like the iPhone XS or even the iPhone 11, it still can take portrait photos of human faces, and only of human faces. Yeah, that's quite true, and that's quite bad because it's typical Apple, and yeah. Now anyway, I have posted some of the photos. As you can see, the color accuracy is quite up to mark, they feel saturated, and the dynamic range have been dramatically improved over the iPhone X. But in my view, it's still not as great as the iPhone 11, especially in the low light area, but that's quite a different story, and we will cover that in some later video. Now, the biggest downside of this camera is that you can't take portraits of any objects or even the pets apart from humans because it doesn't allow you to do that. And if you're paying $600 and still can't take portraits of your pets, then that's quite disappointing. On the front side, you get the 7 megapixel camera with f2.2 aperture along with true depth camera, which kind of allows you to take great portrait selfies, and you can also adjust the background blur, which is also known as bokeh feature. I think that it's a gimmick, so I don't use it much. Overall, the phone can record up to like 4K 60 frames per second of video, and it won't disappoint you even if you are a great camera person and want a great camera. It still will live up to that. Now, moving to the specs of this phone, iPhone XR is rocking Apple's A12 Bionic chip along with 3 gigs of RAM and neural engine built in. It comes in two storage options, 64 gigabytes and 128 gigabytes, which are of course non-expandable. Well, the iPhone XR is quite fast and fluidic even on the buggy version of iOS 13. And you don't have to worry about this phone in terms of performance because of the seamless integration of hardware and software that Apple provides, and it will not disappoint you for the next 3 updates because of a seamless and you can say regular updates that Apple provides their iPhone with. And thanks to that new gesture system, the phone feels more fluidic and more smooth to use in comparison to its Android counterparts. So trust me when I say that this phone is beast in terms of performance. Now, it doesn't have the 3D touch, and that's kind of a downside, but Apple introduced a new haptic feedback in iOS 13, and that kind of works like 3D touch, and it's more intuitive and more easy to use in comparison to 3D touch. It introduces more options, but I still miss the option of swipe to control the cursor in order to edit the text. But yeah, you have to lose some in order to win some. So it's quite good. And overall, the phone is kind of a beast, and it kind of flies through apps like PUBG, Fortnite and Asphalt 9, and even through video editing apps like Photoshop. You can edit 4K photos on a go, and this phone still won't disappoint you. So overall, it's a performance beast, and it would be for the next 2 updates that it would be receiving from Apple. So trust me when I say that this phone is quite great in terms of performance and speed. You won't be disappointed at all. Now, the biggest disappointment I found in this phone is the display panel. Apple was heavily criticized for introducing a display panel with a resolution of 1798 by 828 pixels with a resolution of 326 ppi. Yeah, that's true. It's a resolution of iPhone 4's display, but believe me, when you use it in person, it kind of grows over you and it doesn't look as bad as people say it is. Yeah, it is not as great as the OLED counterpart, but yeah, you have to live with it if you have to pay the price. And the bezels, yeah, those thick bezels on front are kind of polarizing in a way, but Apple has a reason behind it. In order to make the phone symmetrical looking on the front side and to match the thickness of the chin, the overall bezels have been increased in order to make the phone a seamless and a good looking device. It looks awkward for the first time, but over the period of time, it kind of grows over you. And believe me, it does. It doesn't look as bad as you think it is. Well, talking about the Face ID, I think that it is one of the most seamless way of unlocking a phone. And that's the reason Pixel 4 copied this feature. And with the introduction of iOS 13, Face ID has become much more faster than the previous version. As you can see, comparing it with iPhone 10, it is half a second faster than it, but to be honest, that's not much of the difference. It's a good feature and you should use it. Well, talking about the last part, it's the battery. iPhone XR is rocking a 2942 mAh of battery, and trust me, it's champ in terms of battery life until the iPhone 11 Pro Max was introduced. And it still gives me around 5 to 6 hours of screen on time on a single charge, and it can last easily for 2 days on a lightweight usage on a single charge. So overall, it's a battery beast. Now the last question remains, who is this phone for? Well, people who are super budget sensitive and have a very tight budget, then you should go for this phone. But let me tell you something. If you're spending $600 and on a new smartphone, then you should just up your budget by like $100 and go for the iPhone 11. You will get the new camera system, new chip, and overall some new gimmicky features that are only limited to iPhone 11. But if you're the one who is looking for a budget phone, then probably you should go for a used iPhone XR. That would be more of an economical deal and more effective in comparison to buying a new one. It totally depends upon you, and the choice is yours. So, thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it, and if you did, hit that thumbs up button, and if you loved it, hit that subscribe button. And I will probably see you in the next video. Until then, peace out.